he's figured out that there are 3 major pillars if you want to achieve anything in your life, and I'd like to share them with you if that's okay. Would that be okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so write this down, please. The first one is strategy. Oop, hang on. Strategy. What's the first one?
Strategy.
Thank you very much. Strategy. You have to have an effective plan. Meaning, you need to know your outcome. You need to know where you're headed. Which is why I had asked you what your 10 would be. Because distance to a goal dictates strategy. The bad analogy I like to use is, if I want to get across the room, I have one strategy, across the country, I have another. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? And so now you have 2 very, very important things. You have what you want out of this year, because you've written that down as your 10. That should be an intention. You also have how you feel about the distance. And that should help you to find the best strategy for you. And then, of course, we have to talk about the second pillar, which is our activity. So in our business, it would be, okay, I have this plan, am I executing, right? How many calls am I actually making? How many referrals am I actually getting? Because what gets measured gets managed. Does that make sense? So how many am I getting? Out of those referrals, how many deals am I getting? Right? What am I doing for my customer service or my follow-up? Because at the end of the day, what are people buying? Yeah, they're buying us. And the way we make them feel. Does that make sense? They're buying emotion, trust. And that all comes down to what you deliver on a consistent basis. But we can't give what we don't have. Does that make sense? So I want you to be thinking about, okay, am I executing on the plan that I have to the best of my ability? And then the third pillar, this is the one that I really want to focus on here today because this is the most important, this is where 80% of your success lies, is in your mindset. The third pillar is in your mindset. What's the third pillar?
Mindset.
Thank you so much. Your ability to unlock and unleash, as Tony would put it, your mindset to take the action that you know is going to get you the result. Your psychology is going to be everything. And this is also why, because your psychology not only affects what you do, but how you feel about what you do. Now, I'm in a room full of achievers, and I know that, and I'm proud to be part of that group. But let me ask you a question, achievers. Has anybody in this room ever set an intention, set a goal, gotten it, and then you get it, and then that little voice in your head goes, cool, what's next? Anybody? Okay. So I want to reiterate something that Tony's very fond of saying. To achieve without being fulfilled is the ultimate failure. Meaning, we want to build a strategy that not only gets us what we're after, but we enjoy the whole thing. Who's with me, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, what the heck is making me not enjoy those results and actually realize those results right now? Because once we can figure that out, we can move it. Get it out of the way, overcome it, break through it, whatever word you like. But we can do it. We just have to be clear. So I want you to be thinking about that. What is getting in my way from really being in the state I know I need to be in, the peak state, to do the things I know I can do for my business, for my family? Because they're all connected, aren't they?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now I'm just curious. Just shout it out. What kind of stuff gets in our way in this business? Doubt. Thank you. Fear. Right? What's that? Golf. No, that's a great. Your first name.
Mark.
Mark. Thank you so much, Mark. Airplanes. That, like the airplane, went over my head. I didn't get it. So,
Inaction.
inaction. Rejection. Okay, so let me put a couple of those things up here. We've got golf, doubt, airplanes, fear, inaction.
Increased responsibility.
Increased responsibility. Thank you very much. Who said that? I'm sorry? Thank you so much. Increase responsibility. I know you put it that way, but and I don't want to be nosy. Is that how you'd like me to put it up there? Is there any... Okay, increase responsibility. All these things, by the way, are they real, yes or no?
Yes.
Of course they are. Absolutely, they really show up. And they show up and stop us from being, as we said, in a peak state. Stop us from taking that next step. Now, if Tony were here, and some of you have already been through this process, he would call this what?
Excuses.
He would look at this and say, this, guys, is currently our BS.
Yeah.
Right? Which stands for what? Do I have to go to Lou for this? What does it stand for? What does it stand for, guys? Belief system. Okay, good. So, stay with me. So our belief system, right? Our belief system controls everything we're going to do. A belief is, listen to me now, belief is nothing more than a feeling of certainty, right? It's about what it means. Does it mean that, hey, this is the start of the beginning? That's up to us. It's our perspective, right? So the reality is this. Beliefs come in two forms. How many? Two. Thank you. Limiting or empowering. Super simple. A limiting belief is what I like to call a dream killer. It stops you from taking action. And an empowering belief is going to get you to move your feet and enjoy it. And we've all been there, haven't we, by the way? Where we say to ourselves, hey, I set an intention. I'm going to do something. I'm excited, right? I'm going to make those calls, or I'm going to go door knock, or whatever the case may be. And what it's going to yield is, it's going to yield increased business. It's going to help me impact the community in a better way. It's going to do all these great things. And for whatever reason, something doesn't go according to plan. We've all been there, yes? Yes. Okay, we've all been there. And so here's the reality. The reality is, in that moment, we have a choice. And a lot of times what we do is we'll go to our default. We'll go to our peer group. And the reality is that most people are living in a reactionary state. And so a moment ago we were clapping. We got faster and faster and faster. And the reality is that we do that naturally based on our peer group. We always know what's expected of us based on our peer group. People's results in life, the way they feel about their results, are a direct reflection of the expectations of their peer group. I was blown away, by the way, Lou. I just want you to know, completely, just looking at your... How many people were blown away? Yeah, blown away. But when I saw that, all that said to me was an affirmation of what I'm saying to you now. Peer group, expectations, what you feel you're entitled to, what you feel you deserve, what you believe. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so, in our experiences of life, we've had things that have happened that have said to us, see, I told you, that's why it's not going to work, see? But we also have the ability to get rid of those, to remove them. So I want you to ask yourself a very tough but fair question, because by the way, do good coaches always tell you what you want to hear, yes or no? No. Okay, can we be good coaches with each other here today, just like good friends would be, and be honest, yes or no? Yes. Okay, I want you to do yourself a favor. Look at the thing you've written down on your sheet, please. And with a big old smile on your face, if you have to push your neighbor, that's fine. With a big old smile on your face, I just want you to ask yourself, what has this feeling that's been holding me back resulted in? Has it been positive or negative? Has it added happiness or stress? What has it done? Get clear. And then ask yourself, do I want to do this for another 5 years on autopilot, yes or no? I can't answer that for you. However, I'm just curious, how many people would want to be rid of that thing that might be holding them back, that, by the way, I know didn't just show up for the first time yesterday, and I know that because Stanford University did a study and found we get 50% of these by the age of 5, 95% by the age of 18. All those 40,000 times, as George was saying, right, that somebody said, oh, why don't you understand this? Why can't you do this? That's what he was talking about. But our past doesn't have to equal our future unless we choose to live there. Would you agree?
Yes.
Right? Biography does not equal destiny. Our decisions shape our destiny. So how many people in this room want to decide that they are never going to be held back by that again. Give yourselves a round of applause. So, I have a simple question for you. Simple as I can put it. How many people would want a guarantee that they would never be held back by that again? Okay. Can I share with you the most proven guarantee for removing what we call limiting beliefs? I'm not saying you have all of them. I'm just saying it's fair to say we might have one or two. Is that okay? Can I share with you one of the most proven ways to remove that from your life and begin living at your peak performance? Would that be okay, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so write this down. Write down, unleash the power within. UPW for short. These are your dates. March 14th through the 17th at the LA Convention Center. March 14th through the 17th at the LA Convention Center. On day one of this event, this is what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to create a peak state immediately. How to take your emotional muscle and use it to take action on whatever it is that you decide. You're going to learn how to turn your fear into your power. That's why at the end of day one, everybody walks across 15 feet of burning hot coals. Because if you can get across some coals, what's going to stop you now? Does that make sense? Who's done it in here, by the way? Make the sound that you make when you cross the coals. Alright. So you prove my point. It stays with you. Does that make sense? That is a moment, right? That is a moment that will not leave you. Yes or no? For people that have done it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely. So trust your neighbor in that. That is a moment that will never leave you. On day two, you learn one of the most powerful skill sets a human being could master from arguably one of the best facilitators that has ever existed. You're going to learn from Tony on day two how to master influence, the skill set. Now, I'm sure if you're in this room, by the way, you're already pretty darn good at it. Would you agree?
Yeah.
You have to be. But there's always room for growth. Yes?
Yes.
You're going to learn on day two how to take your ability to influence not only yourself, because you can't influence if you're not influenced, right? How to influence yourself first, and then how to share that with others to an entirely different level. And on day three, you're going to lock this all in. On day three, you're going to remove, with Tony, you're going to remove those limiting patterns and beliefs that have held you back for however long, 5, 10, 20 years. And I got to be honest with you guys, look, I'm not trying to be anybody's accountant, but if you said you could grow your business by 60%, let's just call that $60,000. How many people in this room would like an extra $60,000? I'm just curious. Okay, now, here's my question though. I'm going to ask it another way. If you feel like you've been held back for more than a year, if you feel like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, do you have to take that $60,000 and multiply it by 4, yes or no? Yeah. So that's what it's cost. How many people, I'm just curious, want to address a $250,000 crop? Anybody? Because you can. If you are invested. So I'm curious, how many people in this room would want to go from being interested to invested? Good for you. Good for you. Do me a favor. Write this down. I want you to write on your sheet, Century 21 Everest, right at the top. As you can see on your sheet, we have several sections at this event. And they go from Diamond Premier up top, which is basically Tony's living room, right? So it's kind of like how I'm right here. This is Diamond Premier. So you're working with them one-on-one, you're asking them questions. It's an amazing networking opportunity. We have people, we're translating into 8 languages, people from 74 countries. So if you're looking to take your business international, you're looking to take your business to another profile level, that is an amazing place for you to sit. That is Diamond Premier and Diamond. Take your pen. VIP is after that. It's a great investment. Cross it out because it is sold out. Take your pen. Executive behind it. Cross it out because it is sold out. And then we have general admission, which is all 3 days, plus, I didn't tell you about this, but we have a bonus health day. How many people in this room would like to have a little bit more energy throughout the day? Okay, you're going to get that in spades on our health day. Now, as you're going to see, the price for general admission is $10.95. Simply put, if you spent $1,100, that's what $10.95 was in my neighborhood, right? You spent $1,100 on your business this year to grow at 60%. Would it be a good investment or a bad investment? Which one? What if it was completely tax deductible? Even better, right? And refundable? Would you do it, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. However, there's power in a peer group. And my friends, I gotta tell you something. I'm honored to be part of this peer group. And so is Tony. George and Century 21 Everest have been such, I'm gonna use your words, such great family over the years that I want you to do me a favor, okay? If you're interested in attending this event, I want you to cross out $10.95. I want you to circle the sold out executive section. And I want you to put in the price of $5.95. Because of your peer group, you have the ability to fill out that form and hand it to Danette before you leave, or Jeremy, or whoever, who would you like to hand it to?
Danette.
To Danette. I love your tonality, it's fantastic. Hand it to Danette before you leave, and you will be attending Unleash the Power Within to have an experience of a lifetime for $5.95. How many people, I'm just curious, want to take full advantage of that opportunity? Give yourselves a round of applause, but here's what I'm going to share with you. One last piece and I'm all done out of time here. In life, and I know many of you have lived more of it, so I defer to you and I hope that you don't take this as any other way than just one man's observation. The single biggest difference that I've seen for people that live their intention is confidence. It's certainty. It's the belief, the faith, whatever you want to call it, that by taking that next step, it's going to benefit not only yourself, but the people that you love. Does that make sense? And whether you decide to go or not go, I want you to leave this room with that feeling inside of us, because we all have it inside of us right now. And I do not want to leave this room unless we have that in us. Does that sound good, yes or no?
Yeah.
Do me a favor, stand up. Come on, let's go. Stand up. All right. Last few moments here. This is very important.